Hey everyone, I'm Fred Ranger and I hope you are doing good. I hope you're safe. I hope you are staying home, but I hope you're staying creative also. I want to thank you so much for the tremendous growth in the past few months. We've reached almost 5,300 subs on this channel, and it means a lot. I mean, I started this channel just because I had some questions about the gear I was using and storytelling and so on. And now we've built a community, very healthy one, where debate and ideas are being exchanged on a daily basis. So again, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. If you are new here, if you found this video because you're interested in the gear we use to tell our stories in this day and age, please consider subscribing to this channel and joining that magnificent community we've just built, and also clicking that bell notification to know every time I release a new video. Today, we've got a very interesting camera in. Actually, I want to thank Fujifilm Canada for sending me a review unit that I will have to send back. Some people think I get free stuff. I don't. I pay for my stuff. I'm actually waiting for my XT4 that should arrive anytime soon. It was supposed to arrive on Monday. We are now Tuesday. It might arrive tomorrow. With this whole situation around the world, it's making deliveries a bit longer. But I was able, at the beginning of the quarantine time, to get my hands on the Fujifilm X100V, and this is the beautiful camera that Fujifilm released not that long ago. And I have a love story with the X series, and here's a couple reasons why. I mean, the first one is that this is the series that got me into the Fujifilm system. This is also the series I was the most surprised about, because when I first got this original Fuji X100, not this one, but the original one, it was just to be a second camera that I would throw in my bag, because I had all my big Nikon gear with me going on a trip to Italy, and having, my big Nikon DSLR with the 14 to 24, 24 to 70, 70 to 200. Yeah, it was that crazy. I was bringing all that gear on trips. And I bought the X100 because I was intrigued by the look of it, by what people were saying about it. People were calling it the Fujifilm colors and the soul and so on. And so I threw it in my bag, arrived on location, and found myself shooting more often than not with that little camera, the original one. And although it wasn't the fastest of focus, it was a lot of quirks in terms of the mechanism, and it was laggy and so on. I had, new mic here. I had so much fun shooting with it that I ended up shooting approximately 80% of my shots. When I came back, I fired up Lightroom and I said, oh my God, I just shot 80% of my shots on a travel trip with one camera. That's several years ago, and I think it was 2011 if I'm not mistaken. So I was always interested in that system. I upgraded from the original X100 to the X100F, and I really love that camera. I actually have it right here. And I still love this camera to death. This is my daily driver when it comes to documenting my day-to-day life, and when I go on travel, and when I do like a quick in and out in a country or in a city, I usually bring this, and I also bring the little extra lens here to do some telephoto stuff. So really into that system. This is the X100F. So I upgraded from the original one to that one, and now I have the ability to test the new model, this one, the X100V. And oh my God, am I actually pleasantly surprised with a couple of things. At first I was like, okay, this is another iteration of the Fujifilm X100 series, and I was a bit afraid about the hype around new products, but I must say that I understand why people are raving about this camera. A couple of things for me, those are the 5 things that I really think make this camera worth the upgrade, even if you're coming from of course, the original one, the S, the T, even the F, I am considering upgrading, and here's why. A couple of things. The first one, and probably the most important one, is that redesigned lens. And it's not redesigned from the outside, it's actually redesigned from the inside, and it is now sharp at f2. So all those shots, and I'm going to put some shots on screen so you can see, all those shots that I was not that confident of taking with the X100F, because it was not that sharp at f2. I would have to step it down to 2.8 or even f4 to get a really sharp photo. So all those shots that I wasn't taking with this camera at f2, now after several tests, and again I'll show some pictures, I can now confidently say that this is super sharp at f2. So it's enticing me to take more portrait shots. It's also enticing me to be a little more creative with the blurriness of the background, and also play with the extra lens here that you can buy and put it on and keep it at f2 and have that blurry background on a 50mm equivalent. This is a 35mm, makes it a 50mm equivalent on the crop sensor system. So again, this is the first reason why redesigned lens. You should definitely look into that if you are into making sharp pictures with a blurry background. Second reason why, and this is something that some Fujifilm users or some camera reviewers don't like, but I must admit that if you do care about it or if you don't care about it, well, it doesn't matter, because it is so flush for the screen here that now tilts up. And again, that's my second point, the tilting up screen. That again, if you are a purist and you don't want your screen to flip up, well, look at that. If I just put it back here like that, it is super thin and it doesn't even show. So if you look at how the X100F was designed versus the X100V right here, you don't even see it. So for me, it is a plus that you can flip it up and you can now shoot from the hip. Again, the microphone, sorry about that. You can shoot from the hip. You can shoot up and tilt the screen down a bit so you can actually look at it. So for me, it's just an advantage, and I do believe that they should put that into any camera system moving forward. If it's not the flip out screen like the X-T4 that I'm looking forward to trying also, you know, at least having that tilt up screen. X Pro 3, that's a very different story, and I did review this camera. If you are interested, please click here in seeing my review, but I think this is the most efficient version of the screen. The third one is the weather seal. I mean, this was, again, my daily driver, and I did shoot it in the rain or in the snow, but I wouldn't recommend actually taking the X100F into harsh conditions. I think this one, they've done a good job. You will have to put a little filter on it if you want it to be 100% weather sealed, because the lens here is moving a bit. But for me, being able to shoot in the rain, to see those reflections at night and those neon signs, and staying creative even though if it's raining or if it's snowing or if it's a sandstorm. Maybe I wouldn't take this camera in a sandstorm, but anyhow, I think this is a very, very nice addition. This is the third reason why I believe this is a worth upgrade. My fourth one is something that might sound a bit weird, but the removal of the D-pad, I actually quite like it. I find that this is simplifying a camera that was already very simple, but it's making it even more enjoyable, because you don't have to think about all those buttons and what did I assign that button, that right button to do, and so on and so forth. You only have this, back screen that's very, very simple with your menu button, your play button, your display back, and then you've got, of course, your top dials here. But I do believe that simplifying this camera is going to be appealing to a lot of people that want a shooting experience that is even more simple than the one that was on the X100F. And the fifth one, the last one, and this again is also a bit weird as a point, but you know me, I'm not the typical camera reviewer and looking at the megapixel and so on and so forth. But for me, it's about the soul. It's about that color science, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate in the comments below because I said color science, but I do believe that there is a difference between Canon, Sony, Fujifilm, even in the raw file, guys. Yes, I know I can work my raw file and get it to a point where it looks like a Canon or it looks like a Nikon and so on and so forth. But for me, I like to spend less time as possible on the computer, on Lightroom Mobile, on my phone, and I like to take those images and share it with you guys or send it to someone who paid me to do a shoot. So for me, the JPEGs of Fuji and the ones that you get in here with the classic neg and with the A-Cross and with the all those Fujifilm simulations, I think they've mastered it now. It's easy easier also to work with the softwares to get as close as you can to the original JPEG that you have in the camera. You can even convert it in camera. So for me, that presence of new film simulations and mastery of the existing ones is something that I really find interesting about this camera. So those are my 5 reasons why I would consider upgrading. Maybe the last one isn't as strong as the other ones, but for me it's about that soul. I think that this camera is a camera that has a lot of soul. It's not the best one, it's not the one with the most megapixel, it's not the one with the fastest autofocus, just like the original one, but it does have that urge to take it, to shoot. It was my tool to stay creative into the confinement, into this unprecedented times that we're going through. It kept me sane. It kept me documenting and looking at great photos of my children's or of the neighborhood when they're making a little walk around the block. But one day we'll be able to take these cameras and travel the world again. At least that's hopefully what we'll be able to do very soon, and we'll be able to take incredible images with that camera. If you have any questions about the Fujifilm X100V or any other Fujifilm cameras, or actually storytelling in general, please feel free to ask them down below. If you do have a Fujifilm X100V, what are your reasons why you are liking this camera, and some reasons why you would not consider upgrading? I'm interested in learning about the way you think about upgrading to that new camera. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and you will be able to tell the world that this is a video that other people should see or should engage with. Again, I've been Fred Ranger. Please enjoy life, be happy, stay safe, stay home, and stay creative. Cheers.